So today I wanted to discuss a video that I had seen about women and reborn dolls made by ABC News. And I thought it was a very well put together news article, pretty much about reborn doll collectors. It showed a few women and what they're doing with their reborn dolls, how they are coping with their problems with I think some women use these reborn dolls because they have problems with anxiety. Older women sometimes use these reborn dolls because they have problems with dementia. Other women use reborn dolls because a lot of them, couldn't have children. And so they buy these reborn dolls and use those dolls in place of the children. Some reborn doll collectors just collect dolls. Others actually act out real human life interactions with these dolls. In other words, they hold them, they pick them up, they change their clothes, they comb their hair, and then some of them go as far as taking them out in public, which I don't really see a problem with, okay? If that's what they want to do, if that makes them feel closer to their reborns, if that gives them the experience of having a real life baby or the next closest thing to having a real life baby, then so be it. Okay, let these women have a hobby. Okay, women have to work as it is because a lot of men cannot financially support a family in these times by himself. So a lot of women are expected to go out and work and also bring home the money and help pay the bills. And so a lot of women deserve a hobby of her own that if she wants to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars buying these very realistic looking dolls, trying to get them as close looking to a real human baby as possible, if that's what she wants to do with her time and her money, that's her business. My problem is the right-wing nationalists that find their way to these news articles to give their opinions. And I understand that everybody is entitled to opinions, but my problem is when you intentionally come to these Facebook pages or these Facebook groups and pages and news articles concerning reborn dolls, and you target women who collect these reborn dolls, and you try to say things to make them feel somehow guilty for spending their hard-earned money on a hobby that they want to do with their money and their time. I've heard several of these right-wing activists get on these websites accusing these women of wasting their hard-earned money, telling these reborn doll collectors and things such as, instead of buying these overly expensive dolls, why don't you just adopt a human real baby? Well, here's my issue with that. It costs an awful lot of money to adopt a real human baby. And unless the right-wing nationalists are going to help every single woman in this nation financially with the adoption fees that it costs to adopt a baby and the medical fees that it's going to cost to take care of that child until that child gets of working age, and the money that it costs for daycare, because it costs an awful lot of money to have these children in daycare while you're out working. There's a lot of these reborn doll collectors, a lot of them don't have men in the home. Some of them do, some of them don't. I would say it's probably 50-50, okay? For the ones that don't have a man in the home, that means that they're working and paying all their bills by themselves. And so what they do with their money, that their hard-earned money that they're out working for every day to achieve, is not of the right-wing nationalists' concerns. Because you can sit here and blame these women for not feeding hungry children. You know, it's real pitiful of these right-wing nationalists. They'll come into these chat rooms and blame these reborn doll collectors for not taking their money, their hard-earned money, and feeding hungry children in this country. Are the right-wing nationalists doing that with all their free money? All their money that's not being used towards liabilities and assets, all the money that they have left over, are they feeding hungry children with all their leftover money? I seriously doubt it. So why you would expect women to take their hard-earned money and feed the nation's hungry children is questionable. Why aren't you expecting the lobbyists to do that? Why aren't you expecting the filthy rich people to do that? But instead you prey on women who don't have kids, who have a hobby collecting dolls, to take their hard-earned money and go feed hungry children. You know, the nerve of you have a whole lot of nerve to tell women what they should be doing with their leftover money. It is not any woman's responsibility in this nation to take care of children that have been abandoned. It's, you know, I'm a reborn doll collector, and it is not my responsibility to take my money and go and feed hungry children. I didn't put those children here, so it's not my responsibility to feed them. Why aren't you telling the men out there who are spending their hard-earned money on extra cars that they don't need? A lot of them are out here playing extremely violent video games. These video games that they buy cost hundreds of dollars as well. To buy some of these top video games, these video games aren't cheap. So how come you're not telling men that instead of spending their money on these extremely violent video games, that they could be feeding hungry children? How come you're not telling men that same thing that you're telling women? Is it because you expect only the women in this nation to feed the hungry children, but men, of course, get to do whatever they want to do with their money that's left over? They don't have to worry about it, right? It's just the woman's responsibility to worry about the hungry children in this nation. Just a woman's responsibility. Why don't you do something more constructive with your time instead of telling other women what to do with their hard-earned money? Do something more constructive with your time and open up some kind of account where people can can donate their money so that hungry children can be fed. Do something more constructive like that instead of having the nerve I should have said a GoFundMe. That's what I was meaning to say. Start a GoFundMe for hungry children. and ask the people of the nation to put forth money every week, leftover money, and we'll see how far that gets. Expect people as a nation to do it, not just targeting reborn doll collectors, because you have some kind of sickness that you think that it's a woman's only responsibility to feed a child that comes from another woman's womb. If a woman gets out here and has a baby out of wedlock, and she has the option to take birth control to prevent that from happening, how is her mistake my responsibility, that I have to come forward and take care of her baby because she abandoned that baby at some gas station or some hospital or some fire station? She takes the baby and puts the baby in that little box at the fire department. Now that's somehow my responsibility to take that baby and feed that baby. And with what money am I supposed to do that with? Are you nationalists? Are you right-wing nationalists going to put forth that money? Because if you're not, shut up. Shut the fuck up. How else do you think that baby's going to get paid for? Do you understand how much money it costs to raise and adopt a child in today's society? Is the right-wing nationalist going to put forth that money? Because if you're not, then I expect you to stop coming to these Facebook groups, these news articles about women adopting reborn dolls. I expect you to stop coming there attacking these women, unless you're going to give these women all the money that they need, and that includes the adoption fees, the medical costs, the daycare costs, and the cost that it takes to clothe these children, buy them toys, get them school supplies. Unless you're willing to pay for all of that, I don't expect you to say nothing. The nerve of you to put another woman's responsibility onto a doll collector is real. That's what's real sick and disturbing. And for you to sit here and accuse reborn doll collectors of being sick and disturbing just because they want to have a human experience when they take these dolls out in public, if they want to roll them around in a stroller or buy them clothes, pick them up and hold them and give them love, that's their business. It's their money. It's their free time. Okay, if you want to do something for all the children in this nation, then why don't you take your free time and go to these high schools and tell these teenagers to keep their legs closed. Raise your children right. Because when I was brought up, I didn't have any kids. I never, ever had to have an abortion. I don't believe in abortion, and I've never, ever had one. And one of the main reasons why is because when I was coming up, I took precautions, okay, to protect myself, to not get pregnant. Okay? And I knew, just out of instinct and because of the family that I was brought up and raised in, that it was going to be my responsibility if I did have that baby. So I took measures to prevent that from happening. Okay? And so I didn't have a problem with bringing unwanted kids into this world because something inside my head told me, the sanity that I had inside my head, told me that it's probably not going to be a very good idea to bring a child into the world unless I can financially secure that baby. Okay? So if I want to take a reborn doll out in public and have a human experience with that doll, that's my business. And if you come up to me, I will say something to you. If you come up to me voicing your opinions, be prepared to battle, because I'm going to battle you back. Okay? And I'm going to stand up for all the women in this nation that want to have a reborn doll and spend their hard-earned money on these dolls. It's not their responsibility to take care of, another woman's child that another woman has. It's not our responsibility as reborn doll collectors to take on the responsibility to feed and clothe some other woman's child. Why aren't you, the right-wing nationalists, out here preaching against women having sex if they're not wed? Why don't you fix the problem before the problem even takes place to prevent it? Don't try to push their error off onto reborn doll collectors. That's not our problem. It's not our responsibility to take care of another woman's abandoned child, and the nerve and the sickness of you to think that it is. You don't hold men accountable when they're out playing video games day and night, spending hundreds of dollars to buy these video games, and a lot of them are extremely violent. You don't expect these men to take their hard-earned leftover money to feed abandoned children. So why is all the responsibility put onto women? But you don't have that same energy towards the men out here buying all these extremely violent video games that could be used to feed all these children that are so hungry. How come you don't have that same energy with the men in this country? Because it's a chauvinistic pig attitude of you to even expect women who have nothing to do with your kids out here having children out of wedlock. It is not our responsibility to financially support their offspring. And the nerve of you guys to think that it is our responsibility. That's what's sick. That's what's really sick and disturbing. For you to think that it's our responsibility as doll collectors to take care of women, these kids out here that you're raising wrong, that you're not even raising right, to take care of their responsibilities. Isn't that the right-wing nationalists are the ones that put a stop to birth control. You're the ones that put a stop to having abortions. So you should be responsible if any of these girls in this country gets pregnant and has a child out of wedlock and can't support it. Since you went and voted for all this stuff, you need to be financially held responsible to take care of these kids, not reborn doll collectors. You, the ones who voted to stop abortions and to stop birth control, you need to be financially responsible for the women that abandon their kids, not the reborn doll collectors. And I'm going to say this once again. Since you have so much animosity towards women who aren't even connected to these women out here having these kids out of wedlock, putting the problem onto society, and you're just blaming reborn doll collectors for it, you fix this problem. Stop coming to the groups, because there's going to be a whole bunch of us there to meet you, to verbally battle you. And you better have your cards together, because we will be there to challenge you. You are not going to put another woman's responsibility off onto me and expect me to take care of somebody else's error. That's not my problem. I didn't put that baby here. These reborn doll collectors didn't put all these babies onto this planet. Some of them couldn't even have kids. So they go and buy these reborn dolls. That's their right. It's their money. It's their free time. It is not their responsibility to take care of another woman's child if she has a baby out of wedlock. The nerve of you to expect Reborn doll collectors to financially take care of somebody else's kids that don't have a thing to do with me or a thing to do with us. Some of these women that have these reborn dolls are not psychologically developed to take care of children. Some of them are autistic. Some of them just are not, psychologically fit to. I'm busy. Some of them are not psychologically fit to take care of reborn dolls on a psychological level. And so you're going to put these children in danger to just place them with any woman just because you feel like it's women's responsibility. You feel like it's women's responsibility to take care of the children in this country. Well, I kind of feel like if that's how you feel, then you need to financially secure all these adoptions that you expect us to get out here and to take. Some of you, and then you sit here and accuse women with reborn dolls of having some type of mental disturbance going on. When there's a whole lot of men out here who a lot of young women don't even want to have kids with because these men are mentally challenged. They're not fit to take care of the children. First you right-wing bitches and bastards complained about women having all these kids out of wedlock. So now you went and got these laws passed to stop women's abortion rights. You went and had these laws passed to stop birth control. And so we need to be accusing you of not taking care of these kids being born out of wedlock because you put this problem here. So when you come to these Facebook groups and these chat rooms, be prepared to battle because we will be coming in defense for reborn doll collectors. Thank you.